Are you looking to invest in property, but you're just not sure how or where to invest, especially now that the Sydney and Melbourne property booms are over? If so, then in this video, I'm going to give you 2 strategies that can help you create wealth through property over the coming few years, even if you missed the Sydney and Melbourne property booms. Hi, my name's Niro Thambi-Pillay. I'm the author of the book, How to Build a Property Portfolio That Pays You an Income Every Month, and founder of the award-winning investment property advisory firm, Investment Rise. Recently, I was sitting down with a client, this couple, they were in their 50s, and they were really annoyed and quite frustrated, and also very confused. Why? Well, because they were people who knew they could invest, they knew they should invest, but because of their time commitments, they were busy at work, both of them worked, and they'd been busy raising a family, they felt they'd missed out on the opportunities to create wealth through property. And now being in their 50s with less than 10 years until they wanted to retire, I think they were in their early 50s, they were like, what do we do? Have we missed out on the property game, and have we missed out an opportunity to create wealth and set ourselves up for retirement? And so one of the things that we do at Investment Rise is that we sit down with you and we look to put in place a plan to get you from where you are to where you want to get to financially, and then find the right investment properties that match to both your financial profile and also to your investing goals. And so when I was sitting down with this couple and they were really frustrated, maybe you feel that way right now. I mean, maybe you want to invest, but you're like, Sydney property market's coming off the boil, prices are starting to fall, even Melbourne's starting to do the same thing, have we missed out? And it's really easy to feel that way. But what I told this couple is, if you want to create wealth over the next 10 years, you've got 2 strategies. Number 1, this couple lived in Sydney, and so they really were thinking about investing in Sydney. I said, look, the Sydney market is starting to fall in value, and we haven't seen the end of the fall, which means prices will still fall further. And so the question you need to ask yourself is, how do you make money buying in a market that's falling in value? Right? I mean, no, the Sydney market's not going to crash and the Melbourne market's not going to crash, but both those markets at the moment generally falling in price. So why would you want to buy something that is falling in price? I said, here's my caveat though. The only condition, the only exception is you can make money if you're looking to get your hands dirty. And what I meant is this. If you're looking to buy an older property and renovate and add value, or you're looking to maybe buy a big block of land and subdivide or do some sort of development. And as I said this, she especially just rolled her eyes at me, and I was like, oh, why? What did I say that was so wrong? She said, Niro, where are we going to find the time to do a renovation? I mean, we're busy with our jobs. We already are time poor, and now you're suggesting going and buying older property. I'm like, no. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying that's one viable strategy. But if you are in a position where time is an issue for you, you're busy at work, traveling the commute, maybe with your family, and you also don't necessarily have the experience and you're not comfortable going down the path of renovation and managing a team of people to do the development, or even if you get involved yourself, then just don't go down that path. Understand it is a possible strategy to create wealth, and there'll be lots and lots of people telling you that's the way to create wealth through property over the coming few years, and you'll see lots of DIY experts, as in do-it-yourself renovation experts, and shows like The Block, all advising that this is a great strategy. And sure, it's possible to create wealth that way, but if that strategy isn't right for your current situation, either because I said you don't have the time, or you don't feel comfortable, getting involved and with that kind of strategy, then don't do it. In fact, even many of the most prominent renovation for profit so-called experts in the country are now saying, even if you're going to buy an older property and renovate, don't expect to make money in Sydney and Melbourne over the next 2 to 3 years. You're going to have to hold that property. So then you've got to ask, even if you are going to go down that strategy, anytime there is a holding component to your investment strategy, you're then relying on the market. And the question is, when Sydney and Melbourne are no longer really expected to have a lot of growth over the coming few years, they will come right eventually, but remember, the previous Sydney boom ended in 2003. And it really then kicked off again in 2012. That was 9 long years of next to no growth in the Sydney market. And if that happens again, and it's quite likely it will, how is buying a property in these two markets going to really help you create wealth? Sure, I said you can add value and manufacture wealth, but if that's not the right strategy, then the second strategy for you will be to say, okay, I don't want to buy older property and renovate. What you then need to do is understand that Australia is a country of multiple markets. And sure, Sydney and Melbourne are coming off the boil, but there are other markets that have some great potential for capital growth over the coming few years, and many markets have even started their next growth phase. Right? So what you want to do is identify markets that have great growth potential. They're sort of positioned where Sydney and Melbourne were, so 2011, 2012, 2013, either at the beginning or about to start their next growth wave, and capitalize on that. And there are certainly some great opportunities right now where markets are growing quite rapidly, where you can get these properties rented very, very easily. It's a very safe, low risk investment, and you can accelerate your investment goals. My personal strategy, after having invested now for over 16 years, is rather than getting my hands dirty, which I said is a viable strategy, if that's what you want to do, great. But my personal preference is to find markets that are growing in value. Let the market do the heavy lifting for you, so your money works hard for you. Your equity in your home that you're going to use for your deposit, if that's the case for you, as it was for these particular clients. They had equity in their home and they wanted to use that equity to then move forwards financially. Get that money working harder for you rather than you working harder than you already are in your jobs with and putting even more pressure on your time, because I'm sure you're time poor right now. So if that's the case, understand that wherever you're at right now, it is definitely possible to make money through property. The market is not going to crash, but you need to be very, very careful and selective in what you're going to do. You cannot expect to buy an off-the-plan unit in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane or almost anywhere and expect to make, say, $200,000 like people did in Sydney and Melbourne in the last few years. Right? You need to understand that the apartment market is really coming off the boil, so stick to houses. And then if you're going to get your hands dirty, fine, look in Sydney and Melbourne, that's what you want to do. Or if you're saying, no, look, I just want the market to make money, I want your money to work harder for you, then look at other markets that are growing in value. They're certainly out there, and all you got to do is do the research or get the right help to make sure that you find these great opportunities. I hope that helps. Bye for now.